Empty. Empty-ish. Off I go to Sunderland with Project George. Off to his new owner, who I believe will be very, very pleased to see him. I did intend on setting off at 10 o'clock, but so many other things to sort out. And then I was just about to set off and I remembered that I needed a wiper blade for transit face, so that's on there now. And now, let's go! Morrison's diesel or petrol. Do you like it? Do you think it's as good as the petrol station stuff? Many people don't. Many people say you should never do that. Even some injector specialists once said that to me. But you know, I'm not convinced. If I was just on my way to Manchester or something, I would just use the local petrol station. But as I've just filled it up, different matter. So another economy run, this time to Sunderland. Not quite as far as Newport where I went last Sunday, but like last Sunday, I've made myself 8 rounds of egg mayonnaise sandwiches. But this time, rather than 400 miles, I've got 268 miles. And to divide that 8 up into 268 is more difficult than it is with 400. So I almost wish I'd made 10. Rather than talking about it, I could just figure it out. I realised it didn't matter that much. The test of Transit Face's strength is, can it get up Windy Hill with a decent sized car in the back without having to change down to 4th gear? And the answer is yes, it can. Awful lots of fog lamps on. It's just a bit misty, but it's not properly foggy. You really don't need those fog lamps on. I can see you. I can see you half a mile away. What's the point? I've worked it out at about 33 miles on 34, something like that. And I've done about 10. But I just can't resist this lovely egg mayonnaise sandwich. You may be interested, or you may not be. I don't actually know, and I'm not going to start trying to take a vote on it. But my egg mayonnaise sandwiches are a bit special. Yeah. Obviously there are eggs, free-range of course, and mayonnaise, obviously. But then lots of black pepper and some balsamic vinegar, and a spoonful of mustard. Now you wasn't expecting that, was you? Yep. Clickington. These wiper blades aren't much better either. That's the 3rd time I've changed them from what looked like decent blades. So maybe the spring on the arm's just not pressing down properly. Never known that before. Typical Sunday morning traffic. Just had another egg sandwich and I'm only 20 miles in. I'll find a way to excuse myself. Yeah. If I can, sometimes what I'll do is I'll try and save some of my food for the boring times. And by that I mean when you're stuck in traffic. And that came almost to a standstill, so that'll do for me. Yeah. Cows! And just like that, the traffic was suddenly gone. There's no crash, no breakdown, nothing. Just lots and lots of people all coming out for a lovely Sunday drive on the M62 in the rain. People still got the fog lamps on, don't they? There's a sign over there and a sign over there and a lady passing in a sandy road. There's a bridge, I love my bridges, I love my bridges, they love me too. Just not sure how that's possible, but I am. Well, that's half of my sandwich is gone, and I'm only 50 miles into the first leg of the journey. So that's not very good maths, is it? But I'm not hungry. Look at that. Just look at it. It's amazing, isn't it? Yes, it's amazing. People complain about the M6 and the traffic, but the N1 and the A1M just so tedious. It's just the same all the way along. I feel like I've been on this bit of motorway for miles, and I have, but not as many miles as it feels like. Maybe the reason why the M6 is so busy is because it's interesting. The M6 has mountains at the top and dramatic landscape, and it changes, it's constantly changing. Many junctions, different, so many landmarks. It doesn't really bother you to drive too slowly along most of it because you get to see it all. Whereas this, there's some interesting places around here, but they're too far off the motorway to see anyway. Just seen a massive barn outside the motorway with loads and loads of squares of hay. That's quite interesting. And just as well, because I glanced down at my speedometer and I've only done another 10 miles. It feels like 30. Yeah, still all the same. Average speed cameras along this section, and people doing what they normally do, which is to slow down when they see the camera. As you can see, there's some sort of delay on the A1M. I believe it's a crash. I actually think this is more interesting than the previous part of the motorway. Can you imagine that? Finding the traffic jam on the dull road more interesting than the free-flowing traffic on the dull road. Google Maps has taken me off of the A1M because it's found a route that's 8 minutes quicker. And now I'm off the main carriageway, it's changed its mind. Sent me back on the A1M because it's quicker this way. That really is rather crazy. Crazy! Well, that was definitely a crash. Presumably the occupants of that car are all okay, because it's just been dragged onto the trunk now. Just under a quarter of a tank to get 134 miles, whereas last week I got just over a quarter of a tank to do 199. It kind of suggests that it doesn't matter what's on the back of the truck, it just returns the same fuel economy. The truck feels lovely and light now, without that big old rover on the back of there. He was a very nice chap. I like meeting nice people. And he's going to look after George, keep him garaged, and enjoy him, which is more than I was doing up until about a week ago. So I think it was probably the right choice. He also made me the nicest cup of tea I've had in a long time. I like cups of tea. Want another one now? I wondered if a time-lapse version of driving down the A1M would be any more interesting, and after a few miles got bored with it, and I thought the last thing I want to do is be bored editing my video as well. So that's the end of that. All along this journey along the A1 up here, and now on the way out, it's there as well. This same bit of graffiti, S-I-C-A, or Sika, or something like that. I must have seen this about 20 times now, exactly the same thing. This Sika character, marking his territory everywhere he goes, just like a dog peeing up a lamppost. just under a quarter of a tank to get there with 2 traffic jams and about 1,400 kilos worth of car in the back, and then just over a quarter of a tank with no jams and no car in the back to get back. Interesting. This is, as you can probably tell, the end of the video, but it's not, because I have beer. This beer given to me by the chap whom I sold the car to, who's called Matthew. What did he say? It's like a copy of Newcastle Brown. It does smell like Newcastle Brown, and it does look like Newcastle Brown, and it also tastes just like Newcastle Brown. So yeah, it's fairly obvious really, and it's nice. I've not had a Newcastle Brown for a while, and this is exactly what it tastes like. So I'm happy with that. That's great. Currently I haven't finished the video off, which is kind of strange, because I'm telling you I haven't finished the video off while you're watching the whole thing, but I haven't. And one thing that occurs to me quite a lot actually is the sound quality. The sound quality is quite good on this phone when there's no other sounds around, but in the truck it's pretty bad actually. I need to get one of those little microphones I can stick on me, and then I'd happily just chat away about all sorts of nonsense as I go along. It's probably worthwhile me saying to you right now that George is in safe hands. To me, it's been just stuck in my lockup for ages because all the cars knocking about, it wasn't really the first choice of car to use. So it was only this week, once I'd sold Steve, that I decided I was going to use it. And then what happens? I go and sell the thing. But it's going to be looked after, I do know that. He's got other cars at home, so he knows what he's doing, and he's promised me he'll do some updates. Thank you, and bye-bye for now.